Hello, I'm back um, with my second part of my video about my life. Many of you all who know me or, know me, not just, oh, I went to elementary school with her, whatever, um, know that my passion is to write a book. So because I don't have the time, I have started on it a many a times, but I just don't have the time to sit down and write everything down as I would want to. And so I want to say I'm so thankful for technology, for me of being allowed to express myself through a vlog. Many of you all, if you don't know, you can find me on YouTube. My screen name is Sassy 1806 because I am that. I am very sassy. I do enjoy conversation. But this is for me. This is if you want to watch, you're more than welcome. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You don't have to post a comment if you don't want to. You don't have to view me if you don't want to. If you're sick of hearing my voice, this is not for anybody but me. So anybody who is sick of looking at my videos on my page, stay your ass off of my page and kiss my ass, okay? And I'm serious. Um, Now on to business. I am recording part two of the My Life video. And this is very serious for me. I mean, it is emotionally draining. Um, there are some times where I may talk about some things and just lose focus. And, I just want to excuse myself ahead of time because this is my real life. Um, Part two, I stopped with my mom's unhealthy lifestyle, dealing with depression, dealing with molestation, dealing with abuse from her family as well as men, and many women continuously deal with this today. This is just my life and my story. So I'm choosing to share it with you all. And to begin from the beginning, I have to start with her. So for anybody, I don't want anybody saying, well, why are you bad mouthing your mom and why are you putting her on blast? This is not what this is about. This is to give you a sense of what I'm trying to do. And if you don't understand, like I said before, stay off my page. Um, she dealt with abuse. My after she had me, shortly after, my grandmother decided, two grown women cannot live in the house together. Even though my mother was only 17 years old, she had bore a child, and it just wasn't gonna fly. Her and my grandmother were already bumping heads for whatever reason. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know. So, um, she had to go, plain and simple. My grandmother and grandfather found her a place to live, and they told her, basically, good luck, in your life. And that was that. The relationship would forever be stained. There would never be a real rapport, or how do you say, a real mother and daughter relationship. It just never would happen. Um, my mother was living on her own. She had her own place with me. I was an infant, and she just she just constantly attracted um, trouble. The wrong type of people, um, the wrong lifestyle, the wrong just everything. And I'm a '70s baby, so from what I understand, in the '70s, there were many different drugs that were, prevalent during those times, but um, heroin may have been one of the most popular choices of drugs outside of marijuana. I believe marijuana will always be like the herb that everybody will always have as their backup to keep from saying, oh, I'm not out there, but it's still, you know, an illegal drug, so it's still a drug, whatever. Um, my mom ended up dating this guy who um, she said was very, very smooth, very handsome, very um, intelligent, very articulate. Okay, but he was um, a heroin addict. He used to shoot up heroin, and at this time, my mother, um, she was a public aid mom, but she also sold weed on the side. They used to come to her and get you a little dime bag or a nickel bag or whatever back in the day. Well, she had a child with this guy, which would have been my sibling, and her name was Kenya. Um, my mother gave birth to Kenya, and in August, 2 years, she would have been 2 years younger than me. Um, her father, being a heroin addict, okay, he was extremely abusive to my mom. He would do things like just, he would come in the house and, once he came down off of his high or whatever, um, asking for money. And if she didn't have the money, he would stomp her in her face and her stomach and her back and what whatever. Um, he would choke her. He would do things to her, physically abusive things to her. And my mother has always been, as long as I can remember, um, a fighter. She's very protective also, but dominant in a way in which you almost have to tell her where her boundaries are, because she means well, but she's protecting you from all the hurt that she has endured in her life. And I can understand it, but I sometimes have to say, we're two different people. And because I saw that, and I just, I could never deal with the things that to me, she is like a warrior, because I don't think I could ever have a man stomping my head and all of this. Well, after she gave birth to um, my sister's dad came in the house one day shortly after they came home from the hospital. And my sister was crying in her bassinet. And he wanted my mother to make her stop crying without picking her up, because he wanted her to help him get high, tie him up or whatever, so that he could, shoot his drugs up or whatever. And you got me in the house, you got my sister in the house, and my mom, and he's ranting and raving and screaming and hollering, the baby is crying, so on and so forth. Well, my mom says that he instructed for her to put uh, Kenya in the tub because he was sick of hearing her cry, and close the bathroom door so that she could tie him off and he could go ahead and get high, and then he wouldn't have to hear anything, because if anybody knows anything about a heroin addict, once they get that hit, they are null and void to what's going on in the world. They could fall asleep standing up. It's really not that they're asleep. They're doing what we call the dope fiend lean. They're just so whacked out that nothing matters. So, um, my mother said that he placed Kenya into the tub on her back and he closed the bathroom door. Now, you have to excuse me because I really can't remember the next sequence of events that happened after that. It just escapes me. That part sticks out to me. Whatever else after that does not. But I do remember her telling me that they were arguing and going back and forth, and that he was looking for his needles that he used to shoot himself up. So he would always hide his needles up over the doorway of a door. So if you feel up over the door, he'd have his needles there to shoot up. And as I said before, very masterful, very articulate, very crafty. Um, but she couldn't escape him. This was now something that, because she had accepted this seemingly intelligent, handsome, articulate man, this was a hinge that now had come along with it, his heroin addiction. And there was a second child involved. Well, he left. Um, he left the house, and for whatever reason, and my mom said that she went to get Kenya out of the tub and make sure she's all right, because now you have to think she's only about 2 days old, if a week, if a week, okay. um and I'm going off of memory of what my mom has told me, so you all have to bear with me, but this is really, really, I have to get this stuff out because I cannot. I feel like I'm supposed to be talking about this. Um, he left. My mom went and got Kenya out the tub, and she says that after that she checked on her, made sure everything was okay, and that she was fine. And her, Kenya, and myself, we ended up laying down. You know how you lay down, and have you ever slept and just when you woke up, you didn't know if it was the same day or a different day. You just slept so good. Well, that's how she said that she felt. She didn't know what day it was. She felt like that argument had exhausted her. Her placing her newborn infant into a tub, all of that stuff had exhausted her. Well, no, when she told me that when she laid down, she put Kenya back in the bassinet, and she laid her in there on her back, and that she and I had laid down to take a nap as well. Well, she said that when we awoke, that Kenya was rolled over on her stomach, and her whole face was smashed, you know, and that she wasn't breathing.